Now pleased to be joined by Justin Kenny of OPS and Outside the Huddle. Justin, thanks for stopping by today.
Not a problem, Justin.
Preview the upcoming football season. Exciting time of the year for us. I know you're just a couple of years removed from your media days, but how excited are you for the upcoming year?
It's always a lot of fun when you get into this time of year. The optimism, every team you talk to, every kid you talk to, really excited about getting going. Everybody says they had a great summer, you know, great off-season program, and just a lot of excitement around each conference and each individual team as they prepare for the season.
Absolutely. Coming off of last year, definitely no lack of excitement coming into the year. What are you most looking forward to here this upcoming year?
Well, you look at Bishop Dwenger, obviously trying to repeat as state champions, and new digs, of course, with the new stadium getting to be open at Shields Field in week 2. And Spuller Stadium, obviously, will have turf on there. And I think the most excited people out of anybody will be media members like yourself, right?
Yes.
I mean, those rainy nights, or at least those muddy nights, you'll be picking, hey, I'll be the one to go out to Spuller. You know, it'll be fine. Or I'll go to Dwenger. I'll go to Norwell.
I'll gladly pick those rubber pellets out of my shoes instead of having to drop mud off of me every day.
Absolutely.
But diving into some conferences now, SAC, obviously a very close race at the top last year. Dwenger coming out on top. They go 8-1 in the regular season. Snyder following close behind. What do you like from the SAC? Who do you like from the SAC?
Well, I think it's going to be the familiar faces up front. You're going to have Bishop Dwenger, you're going to have Snyder, and I throw Homestead in there as well. All three of those teams returned their quarterbacks from a year ago. John Barnes back with Snyder, Brendan Lytle, Bishop Dwenger, and Luke Goody over at Homestead. And there's no by committee thing at Homestead anymore with Jake Archibald, who will be elsewhere on the football field. And, you know, Barnes really settled in at quarterback with Snyder in the latter half of the year. And so the most important position on the field at any level of football is solidified for all three of those teams. And when you look at Homestead in particular and what they bring back, I think you could say they return the most experience on both sides of the ball. Does that translate into them competing for a conference title? We'll have to see.
Moving on to the NE8, last year it was East Noble once again. They go undefeated in conference play. But again, it was tight up there at the top. You know, another good conference race. Who do you like from the NE8 again this year?
Well, until somebody knocks off East Noble, I think they're the favorite. You know, you look at what they've done. Bailey Parker is a tremendous two-way guy for them. Has an offer on the table from St. Francis. He's going to play quarterback. He's going to play defensive back. And we're kind of used to those two-way guys for East Noble because we had Andrew McCormick before that played both ways, who's now at St. Francis. So you look at what East Noble can do around Bailey Parker, and I think it's Hayden Jones is going to be tremendous on the outside for them as a wide receiver, and they're the team to look at. I think Leo could be in the conversation. I think New Haven can be in the conversation, but until East Noble gets clipped, they're the favorite.
Then we move on to the NECC now. The big division will start there. Angola has run that division for the last couple of years. Who do you like from that big division? Do you think Angola once again comes out on top?
I think Angola does, but I don't think they're as dominant as they were the last couple of years. They lose a lot to graduation, and we felt they were going to take a step back last year, at least in the regular season, and they go undefeated again in the regular season. So I think you see a step back from Angola, but they're still the favorite in that big school division. Ryan Brand is the guy. They're going to basically cuts the field in half because nobody passes to his side of the field. He gets frustrated. He only had 2 interceptions last year, and he's like, nobody throws my way. But an NECC that doesn't really have prolific air attacks anyway, and then you add a Division I safety like Ryan Brand onto the field, it's very difficult to attack that side of the field. So offensively for Angola, I think that's where more questions lie. But we've seen as of last year that guys are replacing the graduated players. It's becoming not to the level of a Snyder or Dwenger, but in terms of there's not rebuilding, there's just reloading right now at Angola.
To the small division we go now. Last year, Busco once again played well. That wing T just does wonders for Paul Sade up there.
Don't change it if it works, right? I mean, you know, Coach Sade, he talks about, man, you know, with Tom Richards the last couple of years, you felt maybe they'll air it out a little bit more, and they did, but their bread and butter is still that wing T and misdirection, going different ways. And once again, that's going to be the thing for them. But I think you see more wrinkles with them within their base offense this year. I think you look at just what they studied in the offseason, the colleges they studied, the games that they studied, and I think you're going to see an added wrinkle here, added wrinkle there, maybe more spread formations sometimes to spread out defenses and then attack between the tackles, trying to use their athleticism to their advantage.
Speaking of other schools in that small division conference, Central Noble's been right there the last couple of years. Are they a team that you think can maybe take a step up, or who do you see winning this conference again?
No, I think it's Cherubusco again. I think Central Noble could be there. I think there's a lot of decent teams in there, but I think in terms of week in and week out, it's going to be tough to knock off Busco.
Down on to the ACAC we go. Adams Central has run this conference for the last couple of years. South Adams kind of has played little brother to them a little bit. I personally, I think we're going to see a changing of guard this year. Adams Central loses so much. South Adams still has a lot coming back, including James Arnold.
Yeah, James Arnold, Nick Miller, too, junior, seems like he's been around forever, but one of the best two-way players in the area, regardless of class or conference. And talking to Grant Mosier recently, I said, is this the year that you guys ascend to the top? And he said, you know, we like to think so, but Adams Central is not going to drop off as much as people think they are. Okay. And despite losing all their name guys, basically, that we know. And then Woodland has plenty of athleticism, which we've seen the last couple of years. It's kind of putting all those pieces together for Woodland. Last year in particular, that was the problem. They had a big line. They had some players. But Ben Reedy back at quarterback. He can make plays for Woodland. I think it's a three-team race. And don't count out Bluffton, who has a really solid junior class there as well.
If you had to pick one team from that conference to take it, who do you think?
I always go back and forth between Adams Central and South Adams because Adams Central, like you said, has you know, really dominated the conference the last couple of years. They've knocked off Woodland in big spots in those Week 9 games. But I think it's South Adams. I think South Adams makes the plays. That junior class is really good. And I think they get over the hump this year, win this conference.
He's Justin Kenny from OPS and Outside the Huddle. You can catch him on Friday nights all around Northeast Indiana. And you can check him out on OutsideTheHuddle.net as well. Justin, thanks so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you on Friday nights.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Absolutely. We'll have more coming up in the locker room right after this.